You guys play League of Legends, win some money? Win some money playing League of Legends?
This is Ben Zieper, Senior Digital Creative Producer for Team Liquid, comedy writer for the Streamer Awards, comedian in general, and he's been with Team Liquid for going on 9 years now. If you've paid any attention to Team Liquid content over the last few years, you've probably seen his face popping up a good bit. Well, in the world of esports where social media and content creation continue to be one of the single most important factors of growing a fandom, Ben's a pretty influential person to talk to within the org. So today, we're sitting down to chat with him about his past with Team Liquid, content creation, how the year's going, and more. So do me a favor, be sure to subscribe down below, follow Ben on social media, and kick back, relax, and enjoy what is a very fun conversation.
Something that I gotta do with both
I've been good, David. How are you?
Ready for playoffs. We're a few weeks away
Me
still,
too.
but now that we're locked, it's like, okay, get through the regular season, get to that point, and then
Yeah,
the whole year begins.
it's funny because we're a few weeks away from playoffs, but it feels like playoffs are about to start because I'm getting ready to go to Mexico on Thursday. So it's just like, even though these are regular season games, the feeling of playoffs is definitely starting earlier this year.
Okay, so it does feel different because I know for us, at least watching, it is going to be similar in terms of studio size. I'm assuming the crowd will be a lot louder. It always typically is down there. But like
Totally.
it feels tangibly different for you guys. Like you feel the pressure, not pressure, but like the weight of the moment.
For me, yes. I actually have not been into the AWTF in about 2 weeks because I just got back from EWC. So I haven't done like a full temp check with the guys to see how they're feeling about it. But my assumption is that they are excited to go because it's not Jose Dioto's home turf in like he's Argentinian and we're going to Mexico, but he played many years in Mexico. So I think there's some excitement there. I don't know how the guys are feeling, but I will let you know on Monday, which is tomorrow as we tape this, because tomorrow I'm going back in for the first time in 2 weeks and I'm shooting a bunch of stuff with them. But I think everyone's excited. I think people like to travel and like, we have a bunch of players who have been around for long enough that I think they take in the unique experiences that is like traveling and going somewhere new. Like I've been on rosters where when we go to a different country or a different city, it's like we stay inside and we play video games all day, and we order room service. And then I've had teams that are the opposite, and I think with this team, they're gonna want to, maybe go out to eat and maybe walk around the city a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that with them.
How much does that blend into content or like the willingness to want to do content when you do have like the guys that want to go out and do more things than those that just want to stay in and play, solo queue 24/7?
Well, it's been a minute since I've had a solo queue 24/7 team, and not that this team doesn't grind solo queue. They do. I think they still play the most solo queue in the region, but I just mean that more so like Yun, who was the biggest grinder for years. The guy would play for 25 hours straight. Now he is much easier to pull away for 5 to 10 minutes and to do content. And beyond that, same thing with Core. But Core was always easy. Core has always been like a guy who will be playing solo queue until an immovable object comes in front of him, which is me and a camera, and then he'll do what we need to get done, whether it be for sponsors or for socials or just for like a fan who has a birthday or something like that, and then Core will get right back into it. So like for me, it's good that we we'll go out and we'll probably see the city a little bit. I've already talked to June and Spawn about potentially seeing my girlfriend as a cousin there, and like maybe we'll go out to dinner with him and he can give us a little flavor of Mexico City. And yeah, like it's just, when I'm around, they expect there to be a phone or a camera in their face. So whether we're in the scrim room or whether we're walking around, it doesn't make a difference. But I will say, like, there's definitely going to be better content when we're walking around the city because they're engaged. And when they're sitting in front of their desks, they might be less engaged, or 2 people might be engaged while 3 people aren't engaged. But when we're doing a team activity like this, everyone's super down.
That's awesome. So taking a step back, because I will have an intro for this video that kind of gives a little bit of your background.
Take as many steps back.
But I want to give a chance to like fully dive into your background with Team Liquid. Obviously, most people know you within the League of Legends spaces, content creation, producer, but also comedian on the side. Do you want to give the lowdown on what your run, not only in esports but beyond, has been in your adult life?
Sure. So I started doing stand up when I was 15 years old,
Damn.
and it's young, but it's not so young these days. Nowadays, there's people starting even younger. When I was 15, I remember being like, "There's a 13-year-old I know who's doing stand up," you know. So it is just people are getting into it younger now. And then I went to Emerson College in Boston to study comedy, which was a new major there. And my freshman year of college, I emailed. I went through like a week where anything I consumed or anything I did, I wrote down the company on my phone. So like I played a video game with an Alienware mouse, so I wrote down Alienware on my phone. I watched a League of Legends match, so I wrote down Riot Games. I wrote down every single League of Legends team. I went to Primark to buy clothes. I wrote down Primark, whatever. And then I just cold emailed all of these companies, seeing if there was like some potential internship. And Steve got back to me. I got two. I think I sent hundreds of emails, and two places got back to me. One was Echo Fox, one was Team Liquid, and Team Liquid was Steve directly, and he hit me up and was like, "Yeah, we'd love to have you join the socials." So for about 3 years, I was a social media intern, and then one day I was in LA shooting something for social media, and Dodo asked me if I'd come on as the team manager. So then I was the team manager for 3 or 4 years, which was an amazing experience. It was straight out of college. Liquid took great care of me, and and Dodo took great care of me, and Spawn took great care of me. Everyone really, and Core took great care of me. Like, I'll get into it more, but really familial environment. And then at one point, they were looking to cut back on budgets for athletics. And while I was like a very active manager, I think there was a role within League of Legends producing that was also open. So they saw it as like a strategic pivot because my background was in like comedy and writing and production and stuff like that. It just so happened that I was the team manager straight out of college. And then a guy named Joey Thimian and Josie Brown brought me on to be a part of the League of Legends content team. And then since then, I've just been a producer for Liquid. And that was 2023, I think, when they brought me on. And now I do League of Legends and I do chess. And I'm a little bit more senior than I was then and all that stuff. So pretty often, actually, Grace, who is the facilities manager and basically like the person that runs the entire office, amazing person to work with. She twice or three times a year will hit me up and be like, "Hey, can you come and speak to this group of kids and just give them advice?" And I give every kid the same advice. I say, "Dude, I have no connections to this industry. I knew nobody in this industry. I just sent cold emails as a freshman in college," which, like, David, I believe you went to university too. Like, typically internships aren't available for freshmen. So like
No.
there wasn't even an opportunity that existed. I just wanted to see what would happen. And I've had like many jobs. I've worked at liquor stores, I worked at car dealerships, I worked at comedy clubs, I worked at a talent agency. But the entire time since I was 18 years old, I've worked at Liquid. And then from the second I graduated college, I have not had another job. I've only worked with Liquid.
That's amazing. That's not something you
it's-
see nowadays. You typically see a lot of people jumping companies, positions to try and climb and find their home. That's like genuinely abnormal in today's market.
Totally. And frankly, like I've fielded offers from other places and I've looked at offers from other places. But the best thing about Liquid, not the best thing, but one of the best things about Liquid in my experience has been that whenever there's a really exciting new opportunity for me, Joey and Steve and Spawn and Dodo and whoever else, really, everyone, even if it's not their department, everyone's very involved in my life and each other's lives, and everyone tries to make it exciting and prosperous for me and the other people that love it here. So while I've like almost dipped a few times, like they've always come back and they've made it really, really accommodating. Just to, like, it's familial, and I have always been turned off by people saying that their work environment is familial, because it's like, no, man, you work for somebody and you're making somebody else money and whatever. But really within Liquid, like, I'm 27. I'll be 28 a few months. And I've worked with Dodo and Spawn and Yun and Core and Hatham and Cheery and Myron and Steve and Joey for the better part of 5 or 6 years now, and then some people for longer than that, for almost 10 years because of my internship. But these are people that are my closest friends now, and I value all of those relationships so deeply that you know it's a big factor in one of the reasons you stick around and one of the things that keeps you happy in the place.
It's the people. I will always say it's the people that make the job, because you can do the job
Totally.
at multiple different places, do similar roles. Like, work is ultimately work, and it will always be that. But it's the people that, one, make the time pass by, and two, make the memories that you'll look back 5 years from now and be like, yeah, like you'll remember the people and the things that you were doing with them, not necessarily the work first. Or if it is work related, it'll be the people that are attached to it that always stick out in your mind.
Totally. And I also like I when I say these things, like I'm not complacent at Liquid, and like it's not like because I'm friends with my coworkers and I'm friends with the people I work with, that's not the reason you stick around. The reason you stick around is because yes, I am friends with them, but also they're all people that like chase success, and that is like what makes the environment so good. Like, if I have an idea, and not to shit on other esports teams, because I have friends that work at a lot of teams, and I think that all of them found their success in their own ways. But like really, and I know it's one of the reasons you became a fan of Liquid in this year when you were choosing what team to join, but like there just is the smartest people around me, and they're the hardest working people around me, and I times are tough, and like everyone's aware times are tough, but I'm never really worried because I know that Steve is going to work his ass off to get new deals and to take care of the company, and he's not checked out and nobody's checked out. There's really no one checked out. Everyone who's involved still is very active, and everyone's pushing each other to be better, and we also like we push each other in the most positive ways. If I have an idea for content, my fellow producers will help me with whatever elements of the production I need help with, and I'll help them with whatever elements of the creative they need helps with. And then on top of that, like Hatham and Dodo and Spawn and Core and Yun and now Jose and Morgan and Quid and all those guys and Sam Spooks, like um, there's not a content idea that gets made without them being super involved in the process these days, because I value all of their opinions, and it's really just a cohabitating, like super collaborative environment, and I've been like beyond fortunate for that. I'm like I said, I'm 27, almost 28, and like I see the jobs my friends are working, and I see the happiness level a lot of these people, and it's not a competition, but I'm so freaking happy all the time, and even when I'm not happy, it's like I always can take a step back and be like, how fortunate am I that I'm frustrated about Poe Belter's scheduling today, you know what I mean? And not that
Yeah.
Poe Belter's ever hard to work with, but you know what I mean?
No,
Like
yeah.
the things that are upsetting at work are so small scale compared to what other people go through, and I'm really fortunate that, like, even through all this turmoil and transitions through the companies and through the ecosystem, I've been taken really good care of, and we all look out for each other in so many ways, and it's great.
Nice. You mentioned
How is that for a
about
PR statement?
that's. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna love hearing that out of it, but it's good. Like, it's genuinely good advice for a lot of people to hear. At the end of the day, like, we all need to find happiness within our jobs and our lives that also still pay the bills. And it's if
Totally.
you can find the blend of the two, you've made it. Like, you're emotionally rich, financially well off, hopefully, and then just enjoy life from there. But on the
100%. I mean, it doesn't feel like work.
yeah, which
And when it does feel like work, it's for one day out of the month when we're doing a freaking hugely intense shoot. And I have so many amazing people around me who like help me prepare for that day. So like, it's just everything's great at Liquid.
I'm curious, does that actually, like, does that still feel like work? Because you mentioned that you've worked a bunch of other jobs and also did like stand-up comedy, so you're used to either being on camera or being up in front of a crowd and having that relationship with people that you have to maintain. But like, does it actually feel like work? Because whenever, personal example, I did Red Bull, they did like a thing for Worlds back in 2022, and they had me up there doing like an analyst desk type thing and just talking to people the entire time to fill time between games. Even though I was getting paid and it was work, I could not get myself to think that it was, because it's like, okay, I'm not preparing a deck, I'm not doing a forecast, I'm not like it wasn't how like to me work has felt for going on 10 years now. Like
Sure.
to me I don't know, it doesn't feel like that. It has a whole different, I don't want to use the word feeling again, but I have no better word for it. Like there's just something different about it. Do you get that perception as well, or does it, because it's straight out of college, is that like the thing that feels like?
Well, David, to be perfectly blunt, and I'm speaking to you about this because I know you have a background where maybe you'll agree with me, but like I also don't think it feels like work, but because we're talking about soft skills versus hard skills, you know what I mean? Like you have a
Yeah,
background in finance and accounting and things like that, from my understanding. So like
yeah,
obviously one of those things is a legitimate job, and one of those things is, you know, something that is really awesome that you get paid to do. And I would say like in my line of work, it's a really awesome thing that I get paid to do. So it doesn't really feel like work because there's very little sacrifice, and there's very little um there's very little stress, and there's very little room for failure because there's so many resources around me. And like just like completely frankly, like I have a lot, most of my friends went to UF and studied finance, or went to UF and studied engineering.
like
And
University of
uh
Florida, like go Gators, sort
yeah,
of.
so I'm from Go Gators, exactly. My little brother's there now. A lot of my friends go there or went there. And I'm just saying that
Shit.
like one of the, one of us went to comedy school where I had no homework and I had, infinite free time. And then some of them went to school and they have master's degrees, and they're working their asses off. So yeah, like to answer your question, it doesn't feel like work very much. And that's because I'd say it's like very easy work. And I'm not saying that it comes easy to everybody, and maybe I'm fortunate that it comes easy to me, but I think a lot of people, if they were put in my position, would also succeed because of the resources and the amazing like coworkers that I have to help you succeed.
See, now you got me thinking about the swamp though, which I
Dude,
like
my little
did.
brother had his first week there.
Oh, you're killing me. Wait, is their first week
Yeah.
Campbell? No, I think it's week 2, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
They've a school that I nearly went to for undergrad in North Carolina is a small D1 school called Campbell University. They're the Fighting Camels.
Okay.
The craziest mascot. You had, like, dude,
And they
hump
play
camel.
UF again. They play against UF.
It's one of those like the small school pays UF to play them for
Got it.
publicity to get blown out by
Got
70,
it.
like one of those games.
Got it. No, no. I don't know much of the sports scene there because most of my friends who go there or went there are like dorks. My brother's a dork, so he's not going to any football games. But I'm just saying that like
Yep.
I think if I was doing your job, I think I'd feel that that was work. And I think but also like similarly, you're very comfortable on camera. It's obvious, from anyone who consumes your content. Like if I have to be in front of the camera, then that does feel like work to me because then I'm
Interesting.
not I lose a lot of the control that I have from behind the camera, and like I'm focused on myself rather than, and not that I'm focused on myself because I want to look good. I'm focused on myself just because there's no one directing me,
Yeah.
and I'm the director.
Interesting. Yeah, I've gotten the on-camera part has never really struggled for me, but I have no problem talking to strangers to the point where it actually got me in
Mm-hmm.
trouble as a kid quite a few times, where you're not supposed to go up to random people and talk to them, but I would do that to random strangers literally anywhere.
But
And my
that's only
mom,
in America.
I don't know. I just as a kid, like my family's from Pittsburgh naturally, so dinners are a 2-hour long process where you're talking to
Mhm.
everybody there, getting to know them, the
Yeah.
whole 9 yards. So like, it was never a struggle, or like it was never something I thought twice about until I met my wife, and she is like, "Why do you just talk to everybody?" It's like, "Yeah, I don't
Mm.
know. That's just what you do. You make friends." Like, first time I was ever in California, we went out to San Diego. My dad, we're at a mall, just so happens to know somebody that played softball out there with him. We then talk to a friend of his who, and like 2 connections over, they give us recommendations for the entire week, and all of a sudden we're enjoying a week in San Diego like a local. And it's like you wouldn't have that if you don't talk to people. So just like ask a question. What's the worst they're gonna do? Ignore you and say no?
Totally. I mean, similar background ish, but like my father is someone who talks to strangers like crazy. And then I have a sister with cerebral palsy who is the most open and outgoing person you'll meet. And we can't be in a line where she doesn't ask someone, "Why are you buying flowers? Where are you going? Who are you having dinner with tonight?" And once the girl in the wheelchair next to you is talking to strangers, it kind of breaks down all the barriers like that socially, people adhere to. And I love meeting new people and talking to strangers. I don't love being good friends with the new people. I think I actually like have learned that as I get older, that I like to keep my intimate social circle a little bit smaller. But I've got like hundreds of people that I can hit up at any moment, and I consider them like a friend.
Yep. Felt that to my core.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally,
So
totally.
on the content front, taking a look at Team Liquid's YouTube channel, like the social media output this year, is there a favorite video that you've done? Like the one that you're probably like most proud of so far? Still wants to
Um,
go, but
I'd say there's two, and it's kind of a cop out because unfortunately they are the two highest performing videos of the
I had a
year.
feeling.
But the I'll start with the Muramina beat me win $500 video. One that was like a really big endeavor, and it was a super short turnaround to do. And uh, Alex Correa is a producer who worked on it, and he did a great job helping me get prepared for it. I think he actually might have been the lead producer on most of that video because I was in Korea as we were planning it. And Joey Thimian, I don't know what his title is now, and if he watches this, he'll be mad at me for not knowing. He just got promoted to be even higher up at Liquid, but they really helped carry a lot of the physical line production through that content piece, and it was a really exhausting afternoon. And that's one of those ones where like it could fail horribly, and it could fail in so many ways. It could fail in the edit, it could fail in the production, it could fail that nobody comes and watches them play League of Legends. But everywhere it went, like check, check, check. It was just really fun. And we're actually recreating that video with Po Belter this summer, so hopefully
Ooh.
you'll see a new one like it. But I love working with Emily. She's like a great friend, and she's probably, she's probably like the last friend that I made in esports, and not by last as being like final, as being like the most recent. I met her through Yun maybe 4 or 3 years ago, and I love her, and I love her boyfriend Max Waldo. If that's public knowledge, I think it is public knowledge. Maybe it's not.
I don't know.
I
Either
think it
way.
is though. Either way, I leaked it. But they're like they're both great people, and I love working with Emily any opportunity I get. She's like super proactive, and she's super. She is a producer, and like she knows what she wants, and she knows how to deliver things, and she really like she's one of these content creators that like we just bring her in as a freelancer for videos, but when I do, like I make sure I set up calls with her in advance because I want her opinion on things, and I want her idea of how to make things flow. So any opportunity I get to work with her is like always so much fun. And Shopify obviously works with her now more as she's a content creator for them, and like they're very lucky to have her because she's amazing. And then the other video I'd say other high performing video was Jose Diodo getting interviewed by elderly people, and I love that video because it just taught us a lot. We learned so much. I mean, we didn't think, I don't know if you would share a similar sentiment, but like we didn't think that there was a video that we could release in 2026 in League of Legends that would outperform our Bjergsen videos or our Ovely like music videos from like Worlds 2020 when like the scene was bigger and there was more eyes on it. And the fact that that video had such a large impact and is still growing is like really, really educational for me. And I'll tell you a little bit about the video. So like a lot of people think that the video performed because of Jose Diodo. Obviously, he has a huge fan base. And I think that there's some legitimacy to that. But I don't think it performed because of Jose Diodo's name. I think it performed because of who he is. He's so kind and empathetic and like really understanding. I mean, this guy, like, I love Brandon. I love working with him. And I don't say I love him the way, I say I love other players where, this is my first time working with them. Like, he really is such a special guy who um, uh, approached that video with such a big heart. And he's like so perfect for being like a person that represents gaming in a large scale. And what we learned from that video is like, maybe advertise not as a League of Legends channel sometimes, but advertise as a gaming channel because that video has no references to League of Legends in the title and the thumbnail or anything like that. And we A, B, C, D, E, F, G tested all of these different titles and all these different thumbnails. And what we found is that like the one that just had the widest audience appeal was the one that was the most successful. That video was fun for me because I got to work with a lot of elderly people that I know. So there's a comedian, a friend of mine, is in that video, and Bowen, our team psychiatrist, his next door neighbor's in that video, and he was really great in the video. And we worked with some community leaders from Los Angeles, and it was just like, it was just a really amazing experience, and they came with such good questions, and they were just great to work with. And what I would say is like a lot of people think that video performed because of Jose Dioto's name, but like when you look at the stats in the back end of the video, I think it's like less than 5% of the audience is using Spanish subtitles, and then less than 10% of the audience is coming from Latin American countries. I think it's like 6% Argentina, 2% Spain, 1% Mexico, or something like that. So a lot of people it's one of those videos where like in retrospect, a lot of people are like, oh, well, of course this is going to succeed because of this or because of that. But like we didn't know, and nobody knew. And that video had a lot of different iterations. I actually, for the longest time, and I love working with kids. It's like, I think that's like a really fun thing to do because I'm sure the pro players aren't around kids so often. And if they are, it's like their nieces or nephews. And I really wanted that video to be answering kids' questions. And hopefully there's a world where we do that one in the future as well. But when we couldn't it's just a legal nightmare to work with children in Los Angeles. And for good reason. Like there have been so many kids that have been taken advantage of in the industry, and not in gaming, but in Hollywood and stuff. Like whether it be like stealing money or, not giving them credit. So we had to pivot. And when we pivoted, there was discussion of what we were going to pivot to. And some people were saying we should pivot to blue collar workers, or we should pivot to teenagers, or we should pivot to whatever. But I was like pretty dead set on the elderly. Yeah. And, it was just a really, really fun time. And it was one of those videos as we were going through it. Sometimes when you're filming a video, unfortunately, you're watching it and you go, this is going to do okay. And then sometimes when you're filming a video, you go, there's something here. There's something really special. This is going to be 10 TikToks. This is going to be one long form and whatever. And now I've been rambling, but those are my two favorite videos. What about you, David? What are your favorite videos you've done this year?
So I do want to comment on the Jose video because I think
there's
something that you're not giving yourself enough credit for. And I don't know whether this was intentional or whether it was just a byproduct of it. How much did you watch old school Fine Brothers video, like the reaction videos on YouTube? The elders react, kids react.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That name is so familiar. Yeah, of course. I used to watch that stuff all the time.
The video, like a minute in, captured the same essence that those videos would have. And there was a very special relationship that I always saw within them, which I think made that channel what it was for a good 5 years, where you needed good content that had enough digestibility to the point where you could analyze it beyond just the surface level and still get the initial reaction to things. But you also need that audience that you have the mix of elders who don't give a shit and elders who look at it and it's like, wait a minute, I haven't thought about it like this. Like you have that blend where it's both the content, like the base level content that you're reacting to, and the audience. And immediately in that video, it's like, okay, Jose's answering these questions very eloquently in a way that you wouldn't expect a normal gamer to. And then you have the elders who are asking questions that are a mix of pointed and not, and it blended really, really well. That like I could see why probably when filming that you got like 5 minutes in and the initial feeling was like, oh yeah, I can see why this will work, assuming we land the ending of it. But
totally. And just to go off that a little bit, like once, thanks for the kind words. And then on top of that, that video for me like gets me emotional every time. And there's very few videos that we watch where like I genuinely get emotional. The Umti farewell video obviously is one that like will always stick a knife in my heart just because I love that guy so much, and it's so hard to see him struggling, but he's doing so well now, and I'm so happy for him that he's doing well. But that video like always gets me because we filmed it pretty early into Jose being on the team. And I know it came out like a few months later or whatever, but these things take time. And just hearing Brandon talk about like how, if he could change his life, he wouldn't change it. There's that moment I replay that video once a week just to watch that one moment and like remember how impactful it is to me. But like he talks about how like being a pro gamer has made him a better son, and that type of introspection just like is very rare to see in my experience in the gaming world, because a lot of times you are, and I know it's like a meme, but like you're dealing with young people who maybe are developmentally stunted because of them dropping out of high school or them dropping out of college, or they were using video games as an escape. And maybe at one point that's what this was for Brandon. I've only known him for about a year now, but now it's so clear that like he is a dude who takes in every moment and appreciates it and brings it back in such a positive way, and not to continue to gas up and give PR statements, but really that's how I feel about all of the guys that we work with. Like I've always felt that way about Core. I know he doesn't take anything for granted, and now that Yun is like getting old, I never thought Yun took it for granted at all. He's always been such a sweet and like a protective guy. But now that he's a little bit older and like, he's had the success that he wants to have and he's gotten to chase the things that he wants to chase, I really feel with him that like if you get Yun and you ask him about how his mom or his dad are doing or his siblings, like he is just a family guy. And it's always great to be around people who sacrifice so much, because they do sacrifice so much. And obviously it's trivial in some ways what they sacrifice, because they are just playing video games all day and every day. But like Yun's mom lives probably an hour to an hour and a half away, and he sees her so infrequently because he is working so hard. And he's not doing it because he's neglectful or anything like that. He's doing it because he is pursuing a better life for all of them. And granted, it's a fun one that he gets to pursue, so he's lucky in that regards. But if he was a full stack engineer who had to work his tush off to make money to help out his family, and I'm not saying that he is helping out his family, I'm sure he is, but you know what I'm saying, like everyone is there for the right reasons, and that's something that like makes this team very, very special. And we had a similar vibe last year with UMT and APA as well, and Impact. They all like really care about, there's people in their lives that are all very special, but it's just you don't get that all the time.
No.
What's your favorite video we've done, David, this year?
That you guys have done? I would probably. Yeah. I thought the Mermina one was really good, just because it's right up my alley. Of just like I enjoy public shenanigans, like that type of stuff has always been fun to me. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I take it back. Because like the two that are the most popular like are the ones that my brain immediately goes to. But let me pull it up just to see if there's anything else that I'm missing.
So actually the video that was the most fun for me to film, now that I think about it, was, and this is going to sound like I want to be on camera. I actually don't want to be on camera, but the video that was the most fun for me was when I was on the LCS finals and I was asking people like incendiary questions.
Oh,
like,
no, that was
give a shit about
fantastic.
Dignitas.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was so much fun. That one was really, really fun. Because there is like this, and I'm sure you experience it now that you're an influencer in the scene and stuff like that, but like when you go to these events, there is this like strange, and by no means am I famous whatsoever. Like I'm not famous. I don't think of myself as a famous person, but when you're in these events, like you are recognized and people know who you are because they consume the content or they follow the socials or whatever. So it was like really fun, because oftentimes I don't really know what to do when people see me in public and not in public, but at these events, and they want to interact.
2 days ago. Like,
what happened?
I was going to meet my wife. We were going to Bathhouse here in New York. She wanted to do like a spa date night thing, basically. And I got there a little bit early and was just kind of like walking around. And I thought I heard something out of the corner of my ear, but I wasn't thinking about it because I was just listening to music and going. And finally I get around to the corner because I'm near it. And I take a headphone out and somebody's like, Shynock. And I was like, turn around, look. And it's like, bro, I've been trying to get your attention for a half a block. I'm so sorry. I was like, dude, you're good. But we just started talking for 20 minutes. Like that's awesome. Fan of my content, works in New York now. He's like, I never
League
thought
of Legends guy, I'm assuming.
Plays League. Used to play in college on one of the collegiate teams, but now just works in IT. But we just started.
Who was it? Do I know?
No, he's not on social media all that much. But
okay.
Just
say if he played in collegiate, there's a world, but
specifically in like the New York area collegiate, I'm not sure.
Oh, got it.
So very local. But he's like, I never thought I'd see you walking around New York. I was like, dude, I tell everybody there's a chance that you will see me here. If you do, and I have time to talk, let's stop and talk. I'm down.
Totally. Yeah, and I know last time I was in New York, I wanted to get coffee, but I didn't have time. But like, we definitely should do it next time I'm there. I'm gonna be there in October, I think. So I'll hit you up about it.
I'm down. Last thing, I gotta only limit this to one more question. I apologize for the dogs going ballistic in the background.
No problem, no problem.
I do gotta
I have
get
a question
the-
for you after too.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
But if you have a co-stream, then we can cut it.
It's fine. It's not us. I'm not as worried.
Okay.
Luna. Somebody's delivering food, and they're just the protectors of the hallway, and they think that they can
That's good.
do everything. But so I don't know if you remember, there was a post that I don't know if you made or if somebody else within Team Liquid made at the beginning of the year. There was a guy that was asking.
Leaf Eater
about-
is Joey, by the way.
Leaf. Okay, yeah. The post was centered around content that is behind the scenes, team oriented stuff that we both know in today's day and age does not get numbers. Nobody ultimately consumes that type of content to that level, which makes the production of it and the cost of it realistically not worth the time for the scale that you guys do. If an individual creator, like if I want to do something like that, fine. I have no overhead costs. I have nothing with it. Revisiting that post now and the things that were said that you guys were going to do in terms of the output, do you think you've hit the marks that you want to hit this year? Or is there some, like, I guess, how would you grade yourself on the year, and where would you like to see that going forward relative to what you said?
It's kind of and actually my question for you is going to be, how do you feel about the lack of BTS content? So, I'd like to hear your opinion on what I think. So, it's all in the same realm. But it's like it really is like a double-edged sword. And I'll say this, like, how do I feel about the content we've released this year so far? I feel it's been our best year yet in terms of what we've released. And what I would say we've released is like a few videos that have gone viral in the League of Legends world. And then we've released some videos that are just for the fans, that are the vlogs and the behind the scenes stuff. And like where we have been able to release those things, I felt very good about them. And I think that all of our vlogs have done pretty decently, and they've reached the audience we want to reach. But like looking back at that post, like, no, I definitely don't think I've done a good job of servicing those diehard elite fans. And it's like something that we talk about all the time is like, how are we going to adjust and accommodate them? And hopefully, like going into next year, we have an even more solid plan, because a bit of the posts that we did this year where we talked to those fans is like, it was a bit reactionary on our. It's like, oh, well, we didn't realize you guys wanted that content so much because it's not being consumed by anyone. And not to diminish the people that are consuming it. You are somebody if you consume it. But it's just like, when I first was the League of Legends producer, and even before that, when I was the team manager, we had a squad producer, we had a League of Legends producer, we had a dedicated League of Legends editor, and now it's just me. And not that we have editors now and stuff like that, but the guy who was the squad producer, Myron, is now like a senior producer at Liquid, and he is busy handling a lot of stuff. And the editor, who was the League of Legends editor, is just an editor for Liquid now. He's a senior editor. Obviously, he's been here for a long time, but he's not someone that I can just go into my pocket and get him to do anything whenever I need him to do something. So like our time with our editors is really, really focused, and it's really concise. And like, not to reiterate talking points that everyone's heard before, but like a big part of what I do is I need to help get the numbers so that when Steve and our sales team and Dodo and everyone goes to players and partners and things like that, and they want to, get a new player to come to the team, or they want to get a new partner to sponsor the team, they need to be able to say that we have the best content, and they need to be able to say that we have the most views and everything like that. And right now, and you, David, you can confirm if this is true because you're the guy with the numbers. But from the last time I looked at it, we trounce everybody else in terms of numbers.
It's not even close.
It's not even close. And like, yeah, the numbers are different than what some super fans would like to see. And that I truly, I really want to figure out a balance that we can have at all. Where I have struggles with the behind the scenes content and its reaction. I don't really care if I spend 5 hours working on a video and it's seen by 3,000 people. To me, that's okay. Like, I'm personally okay with that. My bosses are okay with that. Steve and Joey and everyone have told me, like, if you think this is a good use of the time and the resources, Ben, like, go with God. And I do that all the time. or I used to do it a lot more at the beginning of the split and going into spring. But what we started to notice is it hurts the channel, and that is
Oh,
where it
yeah.
becomes a real concern
Mhm.
because if we are weekly releasing a video, if we've probably released like 20 something videos this year so far, and all of those videos carry each other's success with them, and they carry each other's failures with them too. So when we were releasing these VOD reviews, I understand that people want to see the VOD reviews and that they were enjoying them, but they're getting 1 or 2,000 views and they are hurting our click-through rates and they're hurting our impressions rates. And if you aren't familiar with YouTube, which I know you are, David, but the average fan, when you are releasing content that is not being seen by your audience, the next video you release is going to be deprioritized for your audience. And it just is a negative feedback loop. And especially with behind the scenes stuff, which is like something you can consistently post, if we're consistently posting things that are not being viewed or liked by the majority of our channel's viewers,
Yep.
not talking about the super fans, but those people, it hurts the channel overall. And I personally, like, I can't sacrifice the amazing growth we've had this year for that risk. So what we've discussed in the past is like opening a second channel to do like more concise behind the scenes stuff for the fans. We've talked about posting it just to X, but like ever since Elon took over X, like we all know it's a shit show. And like it's, I have so many fans who like hit me up and like are like, hey, can you post this on other channels because I don't want to be consuming things on Twitter anymore. And I totally understand that. Like me personally, I'm off social media except for my work social media. So like I understand that feeling, but at the same time, like it becomes a resource question. So like to get by the excuses that I just gave you, I am so proud of the numbers we've brought in this year because I think we have really gone above and beyond what we thought was possible. Last year, every year since I've been the League of Legends producer, and every year for the last 4 years, which is that time period, we have gone up in viewership. I think my first year we got 2 million views. My second year we got 4 million views. Last year's my third year we got 7 million views. Right now we're at like 32 million views for the year, which I'm so happy about. It looks so great for the company. Alienware is super happy. SAP is super happy.
Congrats on
Monster
the
is super
re-up,
happy.
by the way, on Alienware. I know that
Thank
just
you.
got announced.
Thank you. And we have a lot of really exciting stuff coming with Alienware, but in finality, like I would love to do more behind the scenes stuff. And I want to give a shout out real quick. I don't know if he's watching this, but like Hatham and Dodo and Spawn are always pushing me to do that kind of stuff. So it's, I am the gatekeeper of that. There is no athletic side that is preventing me from doing it. Everyone is super wanting it to happen. It's just a matter of like making it work. And I can tell you like right now, something Hatham has been pushing me on for months is like, Ben, we need a behind the scenes comm video because the comms are so funny with the guys. And I don't think it's going to be successful. But you know what? Hatham and Dodo and Spawn and these people, like they support me and they support the content side so much. And like if this is something they want me to pour time and resources in, I'm going to do it. So that's the thing I've been working on that I can tell you publicly. Like we're going to have a comms video coming out at some point. And it's not going to be like week 1 of LCS comms. It's going to be summer split comms. So we'll have all encompassing of those big moments. And hopefully because it's not a weekly video, it could get more viewership because it's like all encompassing of the entire year. And I know you have to go co-stream, but I do want to hear what your thoughts are on our maybe lack of BTS stuff. Because Cloud9, by the way, I want to shout out Cloud9. They're doing an amazing job.
Shout out to Danny,
of getting
who
that
was
BTS
with
stuff.
100 Thieves. She's now with Cloud9. She's the one handling everything there. Love her to death.
She is a workhorse, and the output that they have had on that channel is so amazing. And I'm super proud of her because I think she's so clearly so passionate for that fan base and working so hard and like has become such an asset for Cloud9. I'm so impressed and I'm in admiration of her work all the time. And not to diminish it at all, but just going back to the viewership, like they have I Will Dominate, and the viewership is still not so great consistently. And it's not, by no means is it her fault. She is giving the fans the raw what they want all the time. It's just a matter of like maybe there is only 10,000 people that want to watch that stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's the reality is we're getting 55,000 people watching the LCS. So you're only going to get a portion of that watching supplemental content that's directly related to the LCS and the esport. To your question on the behind the scenes content and beyond, there were 2 thoughts that I well, 3, including something you just said at the end there.
And you know,
For-
David, whenever you have thoughts, you can hit my line. I
That's
always am
I don't think about it until asked.
appreciative of
Once
your
I'm
thoughts.
asked, I will always answer. Like I try to make a
Sure.
point too. On
Sure.
the voice comms thing, my worry with that is voice comms are a very bonding experience as a fan to the org. And I completely understand weekly one just doesn't make sense on the main channel. To your point, I think like a clips channel, quote unquote, or something of the sorts will go a long way where you don't have to worry about the algorithm. You just put it becomes like your dumping ground, the void of the TVA, so to speak, of the Marvel universe,
Sure.
where you can just throw everything out there. Getting that stuff out in a timely manner, especially during the season, is very important because it allows us to connect with the players while they're still on the team. Because I don't want to say anything. Obviously, we're hoping for a good Worlds run. Players are locked in for a long period of time, but we know esports is esports. Rosters change. If I get a voice comms video at the end of the split and then the players are gone a month and a half later, you lose that connection. You don't get
Sure.
that same bond that you would have if you were hearing them talk throughout the split and watching their bond grow and develop. So it's a tough balance to strike there. The thing that I've always valued specifically, coming from a Call of Duty background, being an Optic fan, has been what the process and vision and their documentary series that they have always done throughout the history of the org. They have not stopped. And to this day, to my knowledge, in esports, they're the only org that gets at minimum 200,000 views on every one of those videos.
Wow.
And a lot of that is despite players changing and the name and the overall viewership of Call of Duty esports being 300,000 for the majors, they do it every month to the point where you can expect it to be there. And it is very much a recap, but the players are also a lot more open on camera than League of Legends necessarily is. So I understand it's going to naturally be a better product. The players are more entertainers and they understand Call of Duty has a WWE nature to it, which is different than League, where we're much, I don't want to say much more of a sport. I don't want to diminish Call of Duty because I love it to death, but it's not the same.
When you have someone like Jojo Pune come out and start being WWE, everyone instantly is like, this is different and this is awesome. You know, like it doesn't happen so frequently in League of Legends. You're 100% right.
Exactly. But like
APA too.
Yes. Being able to expect that monthly recap that is like 40 to 45 minutes in length that recaps what's going on, it does help a lot to adding continuity to the story year over year, because you reference episodes from years past whenever a change is made. The one I'd be curious to know what the viewership is now. I haven't seen it in a while, but Scump's retirement video series on that. I've never seen more grown men cry in esports than friends of mine who are all Optic fans just watching that live together, just knowing the time was going to come. And when it finally hit, the emotion just struck them hard. And when I think to League and I think to eventually one day Core JJ will retire, we should have that same feeling. We should all, like, there's obviously the league-wide audience is going to feel the impact of that. But, like, the TL fans should be crying. Like, and I say that in the most loving and respectful way, but, like, we should be in tears because of that. And that is done through the work of building up the relationship through content, but also in the game. I don't have the best answer on that of why theirs succeeds so much more, other than just it has been a consistent thing, and consistency on social media is the number one most important thing you can do to build a fandom. So they've just been good for 10 years on that, and they're seeing.
Let me tell you why I think fans should be positive about the future of our more intimate behind the scenes stuff. And the short of it is that Leaf Eater Joey Thimian has just been promoted, and he is now. I really should. I'm gonna look at my Slack real quick so I can tell you what his title is. And this is not me diminishing his title. This is me never knowing anyone's title. Just because to me, like, Joey's the boss. You know what I mean? Like, he's the boss. I don't know what. He's the director of global productions now. And something he has made so clear to me, he's the guy that's been pushing me all year to get that BTS stuff out there. And same thing with Steve Aronset. And recently, Joey has, now that he's in this position of power and he, has a lot more influence over the company, something he's been pushing me towards is like, we need an intern and we need some extra assistance for League of Legends, because like producing a Pobelter Plays League on the Streets video, that's going to take a lot of resources and time, and it's not something I can do at the same time with maybe getting those behind the scenes stuff. So he's aware that it's a problem, and he's aware that we need to find a solution. He is a esports person through and through and through, more than most people I know in the industry. He's a big Dota guy, and it's a priority to him, which makes it a priority to me. And like, I'm hoping that with the extra assistance we're looking for over the next few weeks, and we're trying people out, and we're bringing a lot of young UCLA, UCI, USC people. My hope is that we can find someone who like knows where to look for that kind of thing, and can really help us bring it up a little bit more, especially when it comes to short form media, because I think maybe that's where we will start finding more success. Is like, Squad is great, but what if Squad was 16 clips that exist on social media and stuff like that? And like I have a really positive feeling for the future, and especially when the team's doing well like they are right now. Scrims are going really well. The environment is really great. Like, that only facilitates more content and makes it easier for us to do the kinds of things that the fans are wanting to see.
Yep. That's all I got for you, man. If there's any other message,
Thanks, David.
you
I'm
wanna
sorry
get
for
out there,
keeping you late, bro.
dude, you're fine. These conversations mean more to me than anything else. Like I love co-streaming. If the LCS ever takes a gambling sponsor, which God only knows they could, I can no longer do it. So I'm not hitching my horse to co-streaming in any capacity.
Sure.
So
You can't do it because of your work environment, or
the
morally?
NFL, I have a very strict internal individual policy of we are not allowed to even, like, we can't even do fantasy football leagues. They're
Wow.
very, very strict on what we are allowed to do. Like Sheep
Mm-hmm.
Esports, I can't even interact with their tweets anymore because
I wouldn't if I were you.
I wasn't going to anyways. But like, now that they have the sponsorship
Yeah.
they do, not engaging with it. I'm just like, it's not that you can't. It's just like, it's better to just cut it all out. And I've met with global compliance last week because I mentioned to them about conversations around the LCS, sponsorships, org affiliation, beyond. They're like, you just got to run everything by us. But the number one thing is no gambling. And I was like, all right, that's fine. Understood.
I would say my message, if anyone's gotten this far to the end of the video, my message is like, we're in very good hands. The company is run by someone who loves League of Legends so much, and it's truly like amazing, and like sometimes a bit of a pain, but like a good pain, that like Steve is managing all these big important conversations and then still finds time to hit me up and be like, we should be doing this with the League of Legends team, or like, have you tried doing this Galio build with Quid for content and stuff like that? So like, I'm not worried about the future of League of Legends at Team Liquid, Alienware. I can't tell you about the future of the LCS. I think Mark Z's done a very good job, and I think it's in the right hands. But in terms of like how Team Liquid is going to operate, especially with this partnership with Alienware, I am really, really positive on the future. And I would also say, like, just to gas you up a bit, David, like, you being in the scene is so great for I'm sure it's great for yourself personally, but it's great for all of us. I talk to Jat every week when I see him at the LCS studio, and I don't know if Jat's ever reached out to you, or I'm sure he's spoken to you in some
We've
ways,
talked
but
every
like,
now and then, yeah.
I think you're a big inspiration to a lot of the people that are trying to pivot up their brand and trying to work in new ecosystems. And like, we definitely watch what you do, and we take note of what's successful, and we appreciate it. And you have sparked so many conversations in this space, whether it be like intentionally or unintentionally, whether it's like you starting a Twitter conversation, or it's you doing these walk and talks, and suddenly all of us are like, oh, why the fuck weren't we doing walk and talks for this whole period of time? So like, I'm really, I mean, you don't know how much it means to us that you have decided to be a fan of Liquid. It like, it's made everyone at Liquid so happy, and it's made me personally so happy. And man, I appreciate your passion, and like, your passion alongside so many other people's like really keeps me passionate and I say that wholeheartedly, and I know that the team feels similarly. Like Spawn sees all your tweets, and I know he
God,
interacts with you all the time.
That's probably not
But-
for the best, but hey, bless his heart.
No, like everyone appreciates David, and I hope that we continue. I hope that we can do even bigger things together, like than this podcast. I know that there's conversations about like bringing you in to do some stuff, and I think the same way I made opportunity by emailing all these companies when I was 18, you at 30, I don't know how old you are. I'm guessing
32
like 30
now.
32. You
Yep.
made so many opportunities for yourself and for so many others, just by putting yourself out there, and like, don't lose track of that, because it's really awesome.
I promise you I won't. That's the promise I can
Cool,
make.
man.